Mr. Polka, Alas, and the big head.
What if I told you FredKerley just declared war on Usain Bolt's legacy, and no one saw it coming? In a shocking Instagram post, Kerley claimed he ran a 14.37 over 150 meters. That's just 0.02 seconds slower than Usain Bolt's world record of 14.35. Sounds crazy, right? Because it is. Kerley didn't just tease greatness. He practically said, "I'm coming for Bolt's crown." But here's the problem. There's no official timing, no clear start, and no confirmation. Just raw confidence and chaos. Fans are divided. Some say it's delusion. Others say it's the spark sprinting needs. But let's be honest. Kerley's already run 9.76, won Olympic medals, and conquered the 400 meters. He's the only man alive who's gone sub-10, sub-20, and sub-44. Is that enough to rival Bolt's dominance? Maybe not. But the fact that we're even asking this question shows one thing. FredKerley is doing something right. He's forcing us to imagine the impossible. What if Bolt versus Kerley actually happened? Would Kerley shock the world? Or would Bolt remind everyone why he's the undisputed GOAT? We'll never know. But Fred's making sure we wish we did. And that's exactly how legends stir controversy. In a moment that left the entire track world scratching its head, American sprint star FredKerley ignited controversy after claiming he clocked an absurd 14.37 seconds over 150 meters in a practice session. To put that in perspective, only one man in recorded history has ever run faster: Usain Bolt, whose world record stands at 14.35. And yet, without official timing systems, in what appeared to be a casually posted Instagram workout clip, Kerley boldly placed himself just 0.02 seconds, shy of one of the most untouchable records in the sport. The timing wasn't confirmed, the start point was unclear, and even Kerley's stride disappeared momentarily from view. But the claim was loud and clear. Fans, critics, and fellow athletes immediately flooded the internet with disbelief, confusion, and cautious intrigue. Was this a desperate PR move from a star struggling to stay relevant? Or was Kerley genuinely back in terrifying form? The track community had seen bizarre claims before, but this one hit differently, because it wasn't coming from an unknown upstart. It was coming from a former world champion, an Olympic medalist, and one of the fastest men alive. And now everyone wanted to know one thing. Was this real, or just another ghost in the feed? FredKerley's 2025 season has already become one of the most unpredictable stories in track and field, marked by baffling lows and tantalizing highs. After a sluggish season opener in Los Angeles, where he clocked a modest 10.23 in the 100 meters, barely a whisper in the sprinting world, Kerley showed up in Kingston for the Grand Slam meet and somehow did worse. A jaw-dropping 10:30 placed him near the bottom of the rankings, fueling a wave of online mockery and pundit speculation that the once golden sprinting machine had lost its edge. This wasn't the Fred who stormed into global stardom in 2022 with ruthless consistency and blazing times. This was a different, erratic version, one that had fans wondering if injury, age, or pressure had finally caught up to him. For an athlete known for his unpredictable energy and explosive potential, the slow start was a brutal reminder that no one stays on top forever. Whispers of retirement, burnout, and declining form started making their rounds, but in classic Kerley fashion, the narrative was about to turn upside down. Because just when everyone thought he was done, he reminded the world exactly who they were doubting. FredKerley didn't just bounce back, he exploded. Out of nowhere, following those two abysmal races, Kerley unleashed a stunning 44.7 in the 400 meters, sending shockwaves through the sprinting world. It was as if someone had flipped a switch inside him. Within 48 hours of that breakout 400, he went on to run 3 sub-10 100-meter races, 2 with wind assistance, but 1 fully legal at 9.98 seconds. That time wasn't just a rebound, it was a declaration. Kerley wasn't just back, he was sending a warning. Every coach, analyst, and rival who had just written him off had to suddenly recalculate their predictions. While skeptics argued that wind-aided runs shouldn't count as evidence of form, others pointed out that no washed-up athlete could hit 44.7 in the quarter mile, and then drop a sub-10 in the same training cycle. The message was clear. FredKerley is chaos incarnate. When you expect nothing, he brings the fire. And just when fans started believing he might go quiet again, he dropped the 150-meter bomb on Instagram, dragging his name right back into every sprinting conversation worldwide. The 150-meter distance isn't officially contested often, but its historical significance cannot be overstated, especially when your name is FredKerley and you claim to have run it faster than anyone but Bolt. The problem? The video evidence was shaky at best. The clip, filmed from a questionable angle, lacked a visible start line, an official timer, or any clear measurement indicators. Yet Kerley proudly posted the 14.37 time, instantly ranking himself second on the all-time list ahead of giants like Andre DeGrasse, Wade Van Niekerk, and even Johan Blake. The record books showed nothing close to that, except Bolt's legendary 14.35 set on a straight track in 2009 while in peak world record shape. So how could Kerley, after just clawing back from 2 weak 100-meter performances, claim something so outrageous? Some believed it was an innocent mistake, maybe bad hand timing or just miscommunication. But others saw it differently, a bold mental tactic from a competitor who thrives under pressure. Whether it was calculated or delusional, Kerley's post reignited the buzz around his name and brought attention to his upcoming races. After all, the timing might be suspect, but the confidence was real. And this wasn't the first time FredKerley flirted with fantasy-like times. Flashback to June 2022. Just days before posting one of the most dominant sprinting performances of the year, Kerley uploaded another eyebrow-raising clip, this time claiming a 150-meter time of 14.01 seconds. That figure would annihilate Bolt's 14.35 record, and needless to say, nobody believed it. But then something strange happened. Within the same week, Kerley showed up and ran a 9.77 and a 9.76 in the same day, becoming only the second man in history to run 2 sub-9.80s in a single meet. The track world had no choice but to acknowledge that whether or not those training times were accurate, they foreshadowed something serious. That sequence etched an eerie pattern into FredKerley's career. Post a wild claim, get dragged online, then show up and destroy the competition days later. So when the 14.37 post surfaced in 2025, it wasn't just an isolated event. It was déjà vu. Was history about to repeat itself? If past behavior was any indication, we weren't witnessing a desperate athlete lying for attention. We might have been witnessing a storm building in plain sight. With the next Grand Slam meet scheduled in Philadelphia, FredKerley is officially on the clock. He's expected to line up in both the 100 and 200 meters, 2 races that could redefine how we interpret that viral 150-meter claim. If Kerley is truly back in peak shape, fans should expect fireworks. A sub-10 in the 100 meters, and potentially a sub-20 in the 200 meters. But that's a big if. Because with Kerley, the only consistent thing is his inconsistency. Still, the timing feels right. The pattern is familiar. His training posts are turning heads, the chatter is rising, and history says this is when Fred does his best work. No one's saying he'll break world records. But if he shows up with fire in his legs and vengeance in his heart, we could be witnessing the early chapters of a redemption arc that shakes the sport. And let's not forget, in a field stacked with talent, it's often the unpredictable ones that shift the balance. FredKerley isn't just racing the clock. He's racing against doubt, legacy, and time itself. Learned about Fred. It's that the moment you count him out is usually the moment he writes history. Will 2025 be the year he finally stabilizes into sprinting immortality, or just another chapter in the sport's wildest roller coaster? One thing's for sure, nobody's blinking, because FredKerley is unpredictable, unfiltered, and undeniably entertaining.